Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios, and today we have a second tier ranking video for you guys. We're going to be covering the Grey Knight Codex, as this is Connor's main codex. We've got the codex for, what, 2 months now? So we've
about 2 months.
Pretty much got a good grip on where everything's going to be. FAQ has been out to adjust anything that we needed.
Yep.
And we're going to dive in, giving you guys the classic S, A, B, C, and D tier for the Grey Knight Codex. With all that being said, please, before we dive in, subscribe to this if you want to see more content from us. We've got Grey Knight Tyranid and other army tactics and battle reports coming. Like this video if you do like these sort of tier ranking videos, and we will make sure to cover them for more codexes as they come out and we learn them to give you a true, honest tier ranking of them. With that being said, let's dive into this video of the Grey Knight tier ranking.
Alright, you guys, so as per the tier ranking video, which we really enjoyed filming, we're just going to go in order of HQ all the way down to heavy support. Right?
Sounds good, yeah.
So, we'll start off with the first HQ listed here. It is the Brother Captain. And he's going to go right there.
In the B tier.
In the B tier. So, Brother Captains for the Grey Knights do pretty much what lieutenants?
Yes.
Lieutenants do, which is give reroll ones to wound.
Okay.
It is, I would say, not quite as useful as a Grandmaster
Sure.
or a Captain, if you're a regular Space Marine player. They have 1 psychic power. They can cast once, deny once. It's pretty standard for a Grey Knight HQ.
Yeah.
They have 1 special thing they can do, which is a 2 CP stratagem. 1 CP, 2 CP. Well, I have my codex in front of me now, like I should have, and it's 2 CP for the strat.
Ah, it's not as
It's
nice.
very expensive, and Grey Knights are extremely CP hungry. I don't know about that. Kind of part of why I put them in the B tier. It's not as important as their reroll wounds isn't as important as reroll hits. Psychic Locus is okay. Standard weapons. I wanted to see if they come with the special Storm Bolter. They do.
They do, okay.
So
That's
it's
nice.
them and the Grandmasters that have the special Storm Bolters. Otherwise, everything is Grey Knight, Terminator armor. Right
Terminator
there.
armor guy.
How do you feel about B tier for our Brother Captains?
How many points is he? Is he under 100 or no?
They are not under 100. I believe they are, is it right at 100? 110.
110.
So it is a strike squad cost.
See, that's where I'm not liking him.
Yep.
Because he's an HQ.
Yep.
And you don't want to just spam your HQs.
For no reason.
For no reason. Now,
Exactly.
if you're playing maybe a smaller game, I could see these ones being a great pickup.
Yeah.
But in a bigger one, I would rather just have the Librarian to do the Librarian rerolls or the
Support
Librarian
stuff.
Psychic.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I would have the Grandmaster to deal more damage and better support that way.
I agree. I felt middle of the pack was fair.
Dude, they're not bad.
They're
so
not bad.
I wouldn't put them
Exactly.
any lower. So B tier is
Exactly.
good. They'd be a low B tier.
I think so. I don't know what else. There's not too much else to say about them.
No?
But it's a lieutenant, and it's a Grey Knight lieutenant.
a little
so-
bit better than other lieutenants.
Yeah, slightly better. So because we just went over that, I think we'll go over the special named character next, which is Brother Captain Stern. Now he is a Brother Captain, almost the exact same as the other guys. I believe he's 10 more points.
Yep, 10 more points.
10 more points. So for 10 more points, it's really, you wouldn't expect him to be that much better.
Mm-hmm.
He's not.
Okay.
He's almost exactly the same. His psychic is not increased at all. Same cast, same amount of powers, which is 1 from the Dominus power. So what he gets for that 10 points is an extra attack. So that's cool. And he has 2 abilities that I don't really like. The first one is Strands of Fate, and I guess I'll just read it in full
Yeah,
so
go
everyone
for
can
it.
get it. In your turn, you can reroll 1 hit roll, wound roll, or saving throw for this model. If you do, in your opponent's next turn, they can reroll a hit roll,
What the heck?
wound roll, or saving throw for a model in their army.
What?
So I think that is horrible.
It could be good. You're gambling with it.
Yeah.
Is your reroll gonna be better than your opponent's reroll?
The thing is, good point, and the thing is, you can only reroll stuff for him. It's
And your
not for
opponent can do
army.
anything.
Your opponent can do it on any hit, wound, or saving throw in their entire army.
The only time that would come in play is if you've got a 2-up save you need to make and it swings the game, and then you get a reroll on it. But at that point,
It's very specific, and I would almost say I would never use that, even if I brought Stern.
yeah.
His other one is more useful. Zone of Banishment. Each time a model successfully manifests a psychic power, each time he successfully manifests a psychic power, every demon unit within 6 inches suffers a mortal wound.
So if you're playing demons, sure, it's
But
great.
I mean, if there's demons within 6 inches of him, they're hopefully dying to other things, and it's only one.
I don't know.
It's it. So you can pretend each of those are like a 5-point.
Upgrade.
Plus the attack is mixed in there.
I would not take him.
No, I will always take a regular one over him.
I would almost put him like in C tier, because
I wouldn't be opposed to putting him down in C tier.
you're paying a premium for something that doesn't really deserve a premium.
Now is 10 points more for that? Well, yeah, it's 10 points more basically for that extra attack.
Yeah.
Let's put him in C tier. Sorry, Stern.
Plus he's locked to
Ward makers.
ward makers.
Good call.
So
yeah. You're right. So C tier.
I'll put him there. Maybe high C tier, but
Sure.
he's
We'll see as
nothing special compared to the rest that I
No.
can see.
I agree, and it's unfortunate because we only have 3 or 4 named characters, but that's where we think.
Why you gotta do Stern dirty?
Yeah, he could have been a little better. Next, we have the Brotherhood Champion.
All right.
He's gonna go. I'm thinking
Ooh.
A tier.
Okay.
Now, he doesn't buff anybody.
No.
He is just the combat
Just a little combat boy.
guy, but he is only, I believe it's 70 points. Where is he?
Yeah,
Brotherhood
right
Champion.
there, 70 points.
So 70 points to other armies is, what is that, an average cost of an HQ?
That's cheaper than a Tyranid one.
Cheaper than Tyranid 1. For Grey Knights, 70 points for an HQ
It's
is
dirt
cheap.
cheap.
So if you, especially for smaller games, if you're playing and you don't want to spend all of your points on HQs, I think the Brotherhood Champion does his job well.
And he's great in combat.
He's great in combat.
He's just like a super strike marine, but he's got artificer armor, right?
They don't call it that anymore, but yes.
Okay.
So he does have a 2+ save, even though he looks like he's in power armor.
And he only takes up 1 slot, so he can fit in a rhino and
One
everything.
slot fits in a rhino. He has a 4-up invuln, Iron Halo, and they come with 2 abilities. Those abilities are martial superiority. So if there's a character within engagement range, he fights first.
Awesome.
So it's like a challenge type thing.
Absolutely.
And then honor or death. It's very wordy, but basically he can 6-inch heroically intervene.
That's great.
So you keep him kind of like a little behind a squad. Like it's gonna get charged.
Yep.
He
supports.
just jumps in. Regular Stormbolter, regular Grey Knight weapons. You can put relics and stuff on him.
You can put relics if you want.
So-
Can he have a hammer and
You
things?
can have a hammer, yeah.
No, that's not bad.
Yes. Oh wait,
He's got 5 attacks.
can he not change his sword out?
No, maybe he can't. Maybe he's just got a sword.
I don't think he can change his sword out. Oh.
Interesting.
Well, that limits some
So
of
he
the relics.
can't take the hammer, but the
can't-
sword is great,
The sword is great. It's a superpower sword.
especially if you're going up against Marines. So
Yes. So it's still good. He casts 1, denies 1, knows 1 from the Dominus power. I think for 70 points, he's really good.
yeah, especially if you're playing now, will you see him in 2,000 point list?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
But if you're playing smaller games,
Yeah.
then absolutely. The only reason you don't see him is just because you have Grandmaster Dread Knights.
Yes, as
That-
you'll see, we're doing the HQs first
Yeah.
here. Almost all of the HQs are in the S or A tier for me.
Yeah.
So it's the by far the most competitive slot in the Grey Knight Codex.
But if you're playing Combat Patrol, 1,000-point games, one of these guys is an awesome take.
Super awesome. So I think that's a good spot for the Brotherhood.
Yeah, I think so too.
Next, we're going to the Chaplain.
Chappy chap.
Now, I'm aware. Well, I think I'll put the Chaplain above. How did I put it in front?
There you go.
Like that. So I think the Chaplain is high B tier. We just made a video about this.
We did, yeah.
It'll be a couple weeks old by the time you guys see this video. But the Chaplain, I don't think can get any higher than B tier, high B tier.
Yeah, probably not.
Because if you watch our video, you'll see there is basically one really good litany,
Yep.
and then 2, maybe 3 so-so ones, or pretty good ones.
Yes.
So, because of that, the litany that's really good is called Words of Power. It gives the extra mortal wounds onto wound rolls of 6s in
Yep.
combat, which is so strong.
It's very powerful.
It's so strong, but we are Grey Knights. We are not Codex Astartes, so we don't get the tools and tricks. This will come into play with the Apothecary as well.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have, I don't know the names of them, the 2+.
Wise Orator?
We don't have Wise Orator, which is the 2+, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
To inspire. We also don't have the Warlord trait.
That is the Warlord trait.
That is the Warlord trait.
I think so.
We don't have the other one, which is Auto Pass, the paid up
Stratagem.
Stratagem.
Yep, there's a stratagem.
So we don't have that stratagem either.
I think.
Our stratagem, well, we do have it, but it's 2 CP.
Now,
Auto Pass.
to auto pass, and you can use that in any phase. I think that is something we missed in the last video, is that can be used in any phase. I want to check
You can
that.
just send it out in any phase?
I think so.
Oh. Well, maybe
I thought I remember looking at a comment and someone had
Oh, really?
mentioned that we had missed that.
I didn't look at the comments of that video. It's right here. At the start of any Oh.
So that helps him because you can deep strike him and then get one of those off.
So that, okay.
But it's 2 CP.
I think he
And
still stays there.
You have to use that 2 CP to guarantee your strat. If you don't use it as CP, you got a 33% chance that your strat goes out the window.
Do not like those odds
Yeah.
with something so crucial. I'll use a Chaplain in the future.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to fix up my little model.
Yeah, he needs Crozius.
Yeah, he needs a Crozius, but I don't know. I think the leadership is always nice, the increased leadership.
Yep.
The litanies are solid,
He's fine in combat.
but he's actually, for a Grey Knight character, he's
It's true.
kind of bad in combat.
For
He only has 4 attacks, I believe. And I mean, that's fine to have support stuff. I like taking librarians, and they are also 4 attacks. Yeah, they're both 4 attacks, 5 wounds. But he only has 1 cast deny and dominus power.
It's true, we can also cast Psychic Power. I think he's fine with the high B tier. It does come to when you're comparing him to the rest of the Grey Knight Codex.
Yes, we should mention, this is a comparison mostly within the Codex of the units that I like to use.
So
High B tier?
I think high B tier is good for him.
I don't think, even though you can use that strat in any phase, it's still 2 CP.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where he belongs. Next we have Castellan Crow, one of the best looking models in my army.
Yeah,
Craig.
he's awesome.
And he is going to go...
Ooh,
I
nice
think he
tier.
deserves it.
Okay.
He's 90 points.
It's
So
true.
he's 20 more points than a Brotherhood champion.
Yep.
But he does all the stuff we said that the champions do. He's still cheap for a Grey Knight character.
90 points is still cheap.
Anything less than 100 for me is, in this codex, is cheap. And he has 2 extra abilities on top of the ones we already discussed. So he has Martial Superiority, which is fight first against characters, the extra distance on Heroic Intervention. He also has Cleansing Flame, which is the ability that increases your Psychic Test roll by 1 when you're casting Purifying Flame.
Right, yep.
And I think most impressively, he has Heroic Sacrifice built in. That's pretty much what you're paying a lot of those 20 points for, is when he dies, he gets to fight again.
Fights again.
That is a 2 CP strat for any other character.
Can he fight again? So can he fight twice in the fight phase?
If his model is destroyed in the fight phase, do not re-roll it. It can fight after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks. So yeah.
So it sounds, yeah, because normally they've been saying, like the Space Marine strat is if they have not fought already, then they can fight on death.
No, there is no
So
stipulation.
he can
here.
fight twice. As far as
If he charges, you
Fights first.
make him fight first.
and then he
Hit him,
dies.
go, and then he dies, he gets to hit you again.
Now that's really good.
Yeah, and like I said, any other Grey Knight character can use for 2 CP, he can do the same thing, but he gets it built in.
Awesome.
And he also, we should mention his sword, Black Blade of Antwar. This is the first codex where it does stuff.
It actually does something.
It has the profile of another Nemesis sword, but it is so strength +1, AP -3, 2 damage. But it has the added effect of unmodified wound rolls of 6 inflict D3 mortal wounds.
D3 is healthy.
Now, let's say if you get 2 6s on your wound roll, that's an average of 4 extra wounds. On
4
top of
extra
his.
mortal wounds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that cuts down a Terminator or a Blade Guard just like that.
Yeah, exactly. And Purifying Flame
It's a great psychic power.
It's a good psychic power. So I think he deserves our first
S tier.
S tier ranking.
He is, again, just like the Brother Champion. You're playing a smaller game for sure. He's an easy auto include. He doesn't take up a good chunk of your army.
I've taken him twice against you in the couple we've done, and he's performed at least pretty good.
He's
both
done
times.
his 90 points.
Yes, that is exactly
He's
it.
done his 90 points every time.
If you get him to combat and he's not going against a knight or a toughness 8 thing,
Yeah.
he'll probably do his damage and get his points back.
Yeah.
I like Crow. He's the first of
The S tiers.
the really good characters. And now we will. You're
There
right.
you go.
Now we will get to the other one in the S tier, the other named character. His name is. Ready? Here's his full name. What is it? It's Chapter Master.
Does it say it in here? Or
Yeah,
is
it
he just
does.
called?
It's just fun to say his full name. It's Supreme Grand Master Kaldor Drago Chapter Lord. Something like that. It's a long name. But we have Drago in the S tier, top of the S tier. I think he's 180 points. It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive for an HQ.
Yeah.
He has Strength Toughness 4, so you might not think he deserves to be so high, but he has a 3-up invuln save, always.
That's nice.
His Titan Spear makes him Strength 8, AP -4, 3 damage. It's very strong. He has the Mastercrafted Stormbolter, and he knows 3 powers, can cast and deny 2, which is really good. And then I think the main thing that justifies his price tag is both of his abilities, because they are different than the other Grandmasters. So he has Rites of Battle, which is 6-inch core units that are core within 6 inches of him get to reroll their to hit rolls of 1. Now that is normal for Grandmasters, but he does it to everyone regardless of Brotherhood,
Yep.
and he does it to Honored Knights. For those who aren't familiar, Honored Knights is a stipulation on certain Grey Knight models, units. That means they're not part of a Brotherhood. They're Honored Knights.
They're their own thing.
They're like
Yeah.
a step above the Brotherhoods.
They
They're in
don't
their
get
own
the
group.
benefits and things like that. Yeah.
So he allows buffing of Paladins, Purifiers, Venerable Dreadnoughts. There's a couple other Honored Knights. I guess he buffs Crow also.
Vehicles.
If they're next
oh
to
no.
each other.
Core. Never mind. Not vehicles.
Yeah, not vehicles. But so he has basically upgraded Rites of Battle, which is really cool. And he has the Chapter Master rule. It's called Supreme Grandmaster. Pick a unit, core unit, or a Grey Knight character within 6 of him, full rerolls to hit.
And it can be put on himself if nothing else.
It can be put on himself. So it's Drago. Everyone, I mean, if you know anything about Grey Knights, you know who he is, what he does. He is high S tier for me.
That 3-up invuln can be really good. Now, his Storm Shield, it doesn't give him the 1-up save.
It's not a Storm Shield anymore.
It's not a Storm Shield. It is the Sanctum Sigillum. So it doesn't give him the 1+ armor save. But
Yeah.
he's not going to go up against much who would be giving him a 1+ armor save anyway.
True.
Normally when he's fighting something that's going to be punching at his invuln.
It's generally a large When it's against you, it's a large monster.
It's a large monster normally.
Yeah, he's used to it. He deals the damage, he takes the hits. I think he's completely justified being 180 points.
Yeah, that's a solid point value.
Yeah. Next up, let's see the next HQ. We have, is that a Grandmaster right there?
Grandmaster.
So we have the Grandmaster in Terminator armor. I believe, so I'm going to put him here. Sorry guys, takes me a second. So I'm going to put him in high A tier, but there is a big caveat.
Okay.
So Grandmaster, that's the regular version of Drago. They give Rites of Battle, the reroll hit rolls of 1 to core units. They know 2 psychic powers, but
nice.
they cast and deny only 1. It's the regular stats. They're 135 points. So
that's not bad.
solid.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and you can swap out their weapons and whatnot. Yeah, we were right. The champion cannot swap out his weapon. Yeah. So they can swap out their close combat weapons for all the Grey Knight close combat weapons. Now, the stipulation I have here, I think... Oh, we're comparing it with the Codex, though.
Codex to Codex, yeah. Or within the Codex.
So, maybe we should change him. The problem for me is that, like every 9th edition book, you can only have one Grandmaster. Or one of your top dogs.
Yep.
So, we have him separate. It's a separate data sheet from the Grandmaster in Nemesis Dread Knight armor.
Sure.
The problem is...
You can only take one of them.
The one in Dread Knight armor is so good. Spoiler alert, it's top of S tier as well. So what do we...
I think he's fine in A tier. Obviously, if you're playing a big enough game, even if you're not, you're going to be taking the one in the Dread Knight armor. But for what he is, for his point values, I think he's fine in A tier.
Yeah, that's why I put him there initially.
I'm fine with him in A tier. He's not bad. He's just overshadowed by something that is even better.
Yeah, and there are some relics. There's like 3 good relics, like pretty good relics that are only for infantry, and that is the exact model you put them on. I think. Put them on a chaplain, but chaplains.
I mean, he's your captain. If for whatever reason you can't bring the Dread Knight,
maybe if you don't have the Dread Knight model.
If you're starting out, you don't have a Dread Knight model, or you don't have
Yeah. Okay. So we'll keep him.
I think he's healthy in the A tier. He's not bad at all.
He's very effective for his points cost.
He's just you give him the Dread Knight armor. And he's good.
Why don't we just go?
Let's talk about him.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to Grandmaster in Nemesis Dread Knight armor. It's quite the mouthful. He gets to go right there, right next to Drago. He's better than Crow. Well, actually,
he's better than Crow.
Well, is he better than Drago though?
That's what you were. I think he is. I think he's a little
effective.
I think he's a little bit more of a.
Okay.
Well, it's tough. He's more of a solo beat stick.
Yeah.
And Drago is a little bit more on the support side.
Here's the main reason I agree with you. There's a lot to go over with these guys, so we'll keep it brief. But the reason I think I agree with that is because think about the games we've played. I've done 3 or 4 battle reports against you now.
Yeah.
These guys always absorb fire. Sometimes Drago just doesn't get up there quick enough.
Sometimes he is slow.
Drago is slow, and these guys have 2, 3 different ways to get within 9 inches of your opponent whenever you want.
And you can give them the Warlord traits to make them faster on the charge and everything like that.
The Warlord trait combinations, so that's the other stuff with the Grandmaster and Nemesis Dread Knight, I think, is the best place to put your 1 Warlord, spend a CP, put 2 Warlord traits on. Definitely either take the teleport relic, the one that lets you basically redeploy after getting targeted, or I really like I don't know how to say it correctly, the Agrium Scrolls. Agrium Scrolls, the reroll 1 to hit and 1 to wound.
That's not bad.
In combat. They're so fast. The gift, the Servant of the Throne, is a 1 turn, full turn, 3-up invuln.
Yep, that's very powerful.
The guns you can give them, the sword and or hammer, both are good. It's only 10 points for a personal teleporter to allow them to shunt. It's just
How much is a fully upgraded?
So fully upgraded with the way I like it. So it's a personal teleporter, the side cannon, the Gatling silencer, the sword. The sword is more expensive than the hammer.
Oh, okay.
With the, I already said personal teleporter.
Yes.
All of that comes out to 235 points.
Oh my gosh. And then is it like 15 points for the...
Oh, and the 3-up invone
Yep.
gets it to 235 points.
235 points.
Super expensive.
Oh, that's not super expensive.
But for the points cost,
For what
what
is,
it does, I think it's completely worth it.
I would totally foresee a point increase on these guys coming.
I really hope you're wrong.
In Chapter Approved 2022. Not the regular ones, but this one.
I know.
I could totally see it. 235 points.
They get targeted down a lot though.
They can.
So I feel like hopefully they don't think it's overpowered.
My souped up Hive Tyrants with all their close combat weapons and shooting get to like 235 points. And one of those...
Well, Tyranids need a rework though. They need a codex. That's what they need.
Those things could put a... I like the hammer personally.
I think the hammer's awesome.
On him,
It's
if
really
you do
awesome.
the reroll, the hit, wound, and damage,
Yeah.
the hammer is...
I think that's actually also my favorite combo, which comes out to 230 points because the hammer's 5 points less.
Okay.
The only reason I lean towards the sword is because just in case you get stuck in combat with a bigger...
Versatility.
With the squad, the versatility of the sword is so good.
It is very good.
Yeah, I think we've got all the major points. He's a Grandmaster, so he knows 2 Dominus powers, can cast 1, deny 1. He's just an absolute monster.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the unit we'll talk about the most because they deserve the most.
Well, it's in Battlescribe when I make my list. There's just it's like a paragraph in his little thing because I throw so much stuff on him. But yeah, I think we hit everything. The Incinerator is probably not so good on him because he's hitting on 2s.
Better used on the regular
little guys
ones.
because they hit on 3s. But otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Take him. He's amazing. Next up, we have... Those are elites. This is the Librarian.
Yeah.
We have the Brotherhood Librarian. Now, I'll hold it off to the side to hold the anticipation. These guys, I think, deserve... I think they go there. I don't know about you.
I can see it. Yeah.
They, like the Chaplain, they are your support. Within an army of Psychers, they are your Psychers. They cast 2. They know 3 powers from Dominus, cast 2, know 2. They can take from Dominus or Sanctic.
That's great.
And I believe you can take 1 from each. There's no...
I don't think there's any stipulation.
Unless there's some stipulation somewhere else in the book that I am unaware of, you can take 1 of each. I mentioned that specifically because there's a build you can do that will increase your mortal wounds output with them with that warlord trait.
Right.
Psychic, epitone, or epitome. Still haven't figured out how to say that.
I don't know which one it is either.
Well, it's a Librarian. They come with a warding stave, and mine's modeled with one, and I like that. They start with a 5-up invone, so I think the stave is good on them. The ability they have is Psychic Hood, which is enemy units within 12 inches are... Oh, I get +1 to deny if you are within 12 inches of me.
You get +2 to deny.
+2 to deny because I'm Grey Knights. That's cool. Basically, they are the way I like to use them. You can either do the Mortal Wound, Deep Strike, the Mortal Wound shooter.
Yep.
Or he's your utility guy. He's going to be changing the tides, doing Gate of Infinity.
Absolutely. You want those powers on something that's not going to go off in combat.
Or get close to deny range right away.
Because if you put a key power, same thing I have to do with Tyranids. If I put a key power on something that's going off in combat, they die. I lose the key power.
Exactly.
And they're not expensive.
No, they are 100. I believe they're also 110 points.
That's not bad at all.
No, great for Grey Knight pricing. Brotherhood Librarian, 105 points.
Even better.
I usually get them to 110 because I like to have a Stormbolter on them.
Sure.
So
it's weird it's not included.
It is very weird. It's 5 points. You think you could just swap... you can put other guns on them too. I think it's the only unit in the entire codex that you can put a Combi Flamer, Combi Melter, or Combi Plasma on.
Interesting.
Which is weird.
It's the way GW is doing their 9th edition books, it's because there is a Terminator Librarian
With-
somewhere that has
kit.
Yep, that has that on a kit. That's why they're doing
That
it.
makes a lot of sense. It'd be cool if I could put them on other
Oh,
stuff.
that'd be terrifying.
Maybe that spam would be overpowered though.
I think
If
so.
you could do that.
But
so yeah,
if you got the points, a combi melta on him when push comes to shove.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like to throw the Gem of Anoktu on him. It gives you +2 to cast Dominus powers. It's good for the support one that I like to run. Sometimes it's not worth the points. Like,
The 10 points.
no,
15?
It's true. Gem of Anoktu is 15 points.
So you have to prioritize when you're going to use it and when is it most important that you get it off.
Yeah. And like we said, it's Dominus powers only, so it's going to be used for the supporting powers. Now, it's great. It actually assures that you change the tide.
Yeah.
Changing the tide's only a warp charge 4, so +2, you cannot fail it. You can still perils, but it assures that you change the tide, and it gives you a really good chance to gate something right away. I think that's very valuable.
Yeah, or pull off a gate at the end of the end of the game that could be clutched for
totally.
an objective.
I tend to burn it immediately just because I want to get my stuff
Up
set
the board,
up right away.
yeah.
You know? But yeah, if you have patience and you can save it for the end of the game, because he usually does
Survive. He's one of the last things alive in your army.
He'll be behind a strike squad, probably in your backfield, killing stuff that's deep striking or walking on the board. So I think Librarian,
Pretty good.
high, mid, A tier for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up for HQs, we don't have too many left here, guys. Although HQs is most of our
HQs
units.
is the big chunk of this, yeah.
We have the Brotherhood Tech Marine.
Ooh.
We have Brotherhood in front of ours, so it's better. Not really. Where did he go?
He popped back down
Oh,
there.
he popped down here. So, for me, I do not think he's A tier.
You don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's a reason. I actually,
I was going to put him low A tier.
well, maybe I'll put him here then. We can move him if we want to.
Okay.
So, here's the thing. There is a stratagem in the main Codex Astartes that lets you heal 3 wounds automatically, right?
Yep.
I was sure that I had that. I was sure that I saw that in my book. It is not.
Not a thing.
So we do not have any strat to auto heal 3. If we had that, it'd probably be 2 CP. 'cause
Probably.
it's Grey Knights.
Yep.
But it would make me definitely put them in A tier because the ability to heal 3 wounds off of a Dread Knight, specifically a Grandmaster Dread Knight, would be so valuable. But they don't. So they heal D3 wounds off a vehicle, Dread Knight, a turn, and they also have the blessing. It's just you can just give something +1, a vehicle +1 to hit.
+1 to hit.
So it's a standard Brotherhood Tech Marine that has 1 cast and 1 deny.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
I just
He's 80 points.
he's 80 points. So the fact that he's only 80 points and that
We could put him low A tier.
he basically just follows around a Dread Knight
Yeah.
and heals it and gives it +1 to its shooting, and then when it goes in combat, you're hitting on 2s in
Yeah.
combat with that big thing.
With a regular Dread Knight.
With a regular Dread Knight, yeah. For only 80 points,
Only
he's
80
pretty
points.
good.
You know what? You think above or below this guy? I'd say below.
Yeah, we could put him below.
So low A tier for the Brotherhood Tech Marine. We'll get to it when we talk about servitors, but definitely use them together.
You can,
Definitely, I would say use them in the Sword Bearers Brotherhood, which is the vehicle
Oh, absolutely.
Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I think I would love to use. I want to start trying more stuff with Sword Bearers, just because I don't see a lot of competitive lists using it. They use. I guess it's maybe not the most consistent or competitive Brotherhood, but using this guy with the Sword Bearers Brotherhood is probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's not a very complicated one. We
No.
don't have to say too much else about him. But next up in our final HQ, I think.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
is.
It is Grandmaster Voldus. He is stuck to the Ward Makers like Stern, which is fine. He is a Grandmaster. He's only 15 points more. I think he's going to go right below the regular Grandmaster.
Sure.
Because, like I said, he's 15 points less. he actually knows one more power.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe he can cast it.
He can cast one more,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we know that. And the other big thing is, you already said he's in the Ward Makers, which is a solid Brotherhood. But his hammer is good.
Very good.
It is
One of the best Thunder Hammers.
Thunder Hammer, but it's an extra AP. It's AP minus 3. And it is a flat 3 damage.
That's normal.
That's normal?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I forget things.
But he doesn't take the penalty to hit with
That's
it.
what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. He doesn't take the penalty to hit. So he's great in combat. He's the Psychic. He's like a Librarian and a Grandmaster mixed together with Psychic.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I would put him above the normal Grandmaster.
You think?
Just because.
What about the restriction?
But if you are playing Ward Makers,
That's true. If
you
you're
would
playing
take Voldus over a Grandmaster every time.
100% of the time, yeah.
It's just, yes, he is restricted.
That's true. If you're taking Ward Makers, there's
There's
zero drawback.
to take
There's
it.
only plus. I mean, 15 points more, you get so much stuff.
You get an amazing hammer.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to
Extra Psychic.
pay the 15 points on the Grandmaster to give him a hammer anyway, right?
10 points.
10
yeah.
points. So
basically,
really,
5 points. Oh, you're right.
you're only paying 5 points for an extra attack, an extra cast,
Way better hammer.
an extra psychic power, and a way better hammer.
Huh. That is a great point. Yeah. So Voldus, top of A tier.
I think so.
I think that's awesome. I like that the named characters are actually good.
Actually, yeah, they're actually good.
They're all very high up.
Like the Tyranid Codex.
Yeah.
Except for Swarmy.
We can pray.
We can pray.
We can pray for the future. So yeah, that's all of the HQs.
Sweet.
Next up is, what is it, Elites?
Troops tech.
What's the order of? Oh yeah.
What's in the Codex?
I
We
can
have it
look right
here.
here.
I think it used to be elites, but I think it switched to troops now.
You're right. It is troops. So we have 2 troops choices.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. We'll start with sadly, what used to be my absolute favorite unit in the entire game. It is now just kind of a bummer. Where are they?
Right here, Termies.
You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yep.
So Brotherhood Terminator Squad. It's B tier.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Now, is it... I think they're definitely more useful than a Brother Captain on the whole.
Yes. They're probably better than Chaplain.
Yeah, I think so too.
You'd pair 2 and 2 together,
Yeah.
but
Pair them together is a great combo. So, Brotherhood Terminator Squad. It used to be the absolute core of the Grey Knights back when saves and AP were different.
yes.
In 5th edition specifically. Now they're 210 points for 5 guys.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
A strike squad is 100 points less. And honestly, Terminators are not that much more survivable now.
No, you got...
They're more survivable.
Yep. They're much more survivable, but
More.
the wounds... You're only getting 1 extra wound per model.
1 extra wound, you're getting a 5-up invone.
So they're 210 for 5, and you could pay 220 for 10 strike.
Which, I mean, I would take that 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I would take a 10-man strike squad, especially deep striking. There's a couple good stratagems you can use after deep strike that just...
You get
They do more damage too, the strike squad.
you get the same amount of attacks in combat, right?
Yep.
You get more bolter fire then.
Twice as much.
Your wounds are more spread out, which it can hurt you, it can benefit you depending on the damage of the weapon.
Yeah.
And if you want to spend the CP, you can give them the durability almost of a of a Terminator.
Yes.
With the
it's 3 CP
stave.
for a squad of 10.
I'll
We'll
get
get to the strike squad. What were you?
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it. I was saying for
with
the
the
warding stave one.
Yeah, that's 1 or 2 CP depending on squad size.
Oh, right.
So you're right though. So if you give them a stave, if it's a squad of 5 for 1 CP, they can get a 4-up invone.
That's not bad.
If it's more than 5, it's 2 CP.
Yeah, it's just the points. They're not points efficient is the real thing.
No. So we're comparing them to strike squads so much because they're the 2 units with objective secure.
Mm-hmm.
They are the 2 units that have hammer hand. Well, actually, there's more, but
Technically.
they're my troops with hammer hand, which is the best by far, I think. Psychic ability. So if they get into combat with something, they will rip it to shreds. It's not a question of that. It's really just a durability and
Efficiency.
efficiency, usefulness comparison with the Strike Squad. That's why I put them in B tier.
Yeah, I think really if you want to pull them up a tier, you'd have to give them a point decrease of a couple points per
They're
model.
42 points per model. I don't think it would actually put them into A tier, but take those 2 points off there. Make
2 points.
I mean, Blade Guard are 35 or 40 points.
Yeah.
Death Guards, Terminators,
Yep.
are only 40 points, I think.
Are they?
The regular, not the Scythe ones,
Not the Death Shroud,
not
but
the
the
Death Shroud,
regular.
the other ones. I forget what they're called, but
They're
they're cheaper than Grey Knight ones, and the Grey Knight ones,
They have the -1 damage built in.
yeah, they're yeah.
You do get Psychic,
We
and
get
you have better Invone potentially.
The premium for the Psychic power, well, I guess I don't know what the premium really is for on Grey Knight Terminators. It's a combination.
Yeah, I think they're just, at least they're 2 points too expensive on each of them.
Take those 2 points.
Yeah.
Give me 10 more points to put somewhere else, you know?
Would it be game changing? But it would help them out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to make them, if you want to make them A tier, they would have to be like 35 points per model, which honestly might be a little too cheap. I don't know how to
Absolutely.
balance these guys because their potential is very high and also very low. They're extremes.
Yeah.
So,
That's
I don't
Terminators though. I think they're fine in B tier.
yeah.
Right where they are.
Top of B tier.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the other troop that you compare him to. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
This is the Strike Squad, and all the way up to S tier,
Nice.
I think.
They are the backbone of every Grey Knight army.
They are, which lore-wise is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be more accurate if the Terminators were up there as well.
Yeah.
But they are the absolute backbone of the Grey Knights. They're 22 points per model, so 110 for just a squad. Now, we're comparing this to Grey Knight units, just the Codex itself. But if you compare 22 points for a strike guy to
Other Space Marines.
all of the Primaris stuff,
Yeah.
it's very points efficient.
You get extra, you get shock assault on all the time.
Built in.
You
Every
get
time.
psychic powers. You get
Storm Bolter.
storm bolters on every guy.
Which is not better or worse than the Primaris guns, but it's good.
It's good. It is
comparable.
good. You get built-in power, mastercrafted power weapons.
Yep.
For 2 points more.
For 2 points more, you get all of that stuff added on to what is essentially a Primaris.
The sergeant to one of these units could tear out an entire 5-man intercessor squad almost on his own.
Yeah, Justicar has 4 attacks, and if he has a sword, let's say he gets all of his attacks through, they're 2 damage swords.
Yeah, you can kill him. You can't kill
4
the whole 5 squad, but him by himself can do a lot more than one can do
One
back.
sergeant can kill almost an entire squad of tactical Marines.
And to give the sergeant a weapon to compete, you would have to give him a power fist, which would add 10 points and make him worse to hit. And
just get them.
yeah,
We just have it. And you can also spend a CP to give the, I think Space Marines have this too, but you can give the squad leaders relics.
right? Yep, you can do that too.
And I don't think you can give them the extra powerful weapons, but I just wanted to mention that
Yeah.
because on a strike squad, it's worth it because they're in your opponent's face always. This should be mentioned. Almost every single thing listed so far, and almost everything else besides dreadnoughts and land raiders can deep strike
Right.
in this army.
Yeah, so that
It's
adds
important to keep in your mind.
it adds to their flexibility.
Yes.
They can be doing actions in the backfield. They can be doing psychic actions.
Yeah.
They can be deep striking for engage. They can be your combat threat.
Which is another reason why something cheaper like a strike squad when compared to Terminators is so much better. It's just so flexible.
And they have that little extra mobility.
Yes, the extra mobility. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So strike squad is amazing.
Solid.
Super amazing.
Solid there.
Now, I guess we can just go off the Codex here.
Yeah.
We'll just go like this.
Into the elites.
So, we have the Brotherhood Apothecary. So, this guy,
Yep.
we mentioned this a little bit with the Chaplain. I think, well, I won't even drag him yet. I think he goes in the B tier.
Okay.
Because, like the Chaplain, he cannot get the fancy Primaris upgrades.
Sure.
He cannot revive a guy for points. It's a 1 CP stratagem.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't basically bring a guy back to life. Otherwise, he knows 1 psychic power. He's in Terminator armor. He has a 5-up invone. and he does the regular apothecary stuff, which is heal D3 wounds and 6 up, feel no pain.
You can bring one back. He just has to pay a
That's
command
1 CP,
point. Yeah.
which is probably worth it, depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely B tier at least.
I would put him high B tier.
You think high B tier?
High
above
B?
the chaplain? Because I kind of think so.
Yeah, oh yeah. I would almost put him above the Terminators.
Oh, that's a... Yeah.
I mean, they're still good in combat. They're still a paladin in close combat. And he can still cast, he can do all his things.
Well, he has 5 attacks also.
Yeah.
He's an apothecary with 5 attacks.
He's no slouch if your opponent has something sneak into the back line.
Okay. I think I agree with you. I think he'll go in high B tier. The highest of the B tier so far. He's, there's some cool gifts and the paid points upgrades that you can give him. Heroically intervene a squad near him. There's some cool stuff.
Can he hand out the objective secured?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he can hand out objective secured. So it would be like 120 points or 115 points if you give him one of the gifts.
If you take him in Preservers, he's even better.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the Preservers Brotherhood is one of the least competitive brotherhoods, but there's like fun stuff you can do with it.
Yeah.
So pair him with Terminators, almost always, especially in Preservers. Pair him with Paladins for sure, or just run him with your power armor, I guess.
Yeah.
And make them a little better. So Apothecary, yeah, I agree actually. High B tier.
Solid.
He's cool. Brotherhood Ancient. We're gonna pair the Brotherhood Ancient and the Paladin Ancient together because we have one picture.
They're basically the same thing,
and
too.
they do the same thing. So we'll do the Brotherhood Ancient. He is the guy with a banner. You know,
Banner boy.
Banner.
Yep.
His Sacred Banner is an aura. Brotherhood core units within 6 inches gain 1 leadership, and core infantry gains 1 attack within 6 inches of him. So, then the Paladin one, we should mention, it's slightly different.
Yes.
They have the Sacred Banner again, so it's Paladin core within 6 inches adds 1 attack. And then you let me know if you think that's how this works. He has another one called Chapter Banner. You select a Paladin core, actually just Grey Knight core within 6, and you gain another attack. So you could put that on Paladins with the Sacred Banner and give them +2 attacks.
I think so. I don't see why not.
You can give Paladins +2 attacks if you buy this guy.
So the only difference between the two is that in order for them to get both, they have to be within 6 inches. In this case, you could give it to them in the command phase and teleport them away, and they'll still have the +1 attack.
Right.
So it's utility. I don't see why you couldn't stack it.
So you could stack Paladins up to 6 attacks per guy and then 7 on the Paragon, which is hilarious. I mean, it seems kind of redundant actually to have the Paladin Ancient. I think
there's a point where your squad is doing too much damage.
Well, you're investing too many points.
And too many points. Yep.
Attacks. Yeah. So I think the Paladin Ancient, if we were putting them in separate spots, would be at 1 step below the Brotherhood Ancient.
Below or above?
Below. I think the Brotherhood Ancient, you get more bang for your buck.
Oh, what's the point difference in the two?
Let's check out what the point difference is. Because I just think, so we go to Elites. Brotherhood Ancient is 100 points, Paladin Ancient is 110.
So for 10 points, you can give 1 extra unit extra attack, and you get an extra attack.
Yeah, but you're teching into the Paladin thing, which...
Oh, you have to give it to Paladins, right? Yeah, that's true. So...
And Paladins, unfortunately, are not... They're Honored Knights. So I just think having the versatility of the regular one...
That's fair.
...is better. But they're very similar. They do the exact same thing. There's a relic, but it's a bad relic. You can replace one of these with a...
Sure.
Does mortal wounds within 6 inches.
Right.
But anyways, I don't think they're garbage.
No, not at all.
I think they go in the bottom of B tier.
Yeah, I was going to say either there or right in front of the Brother Captain, but...
I think Brother Captain is a little better.
Sure. The rerolling wounds.
The wounds for Grey Knights is big. So yeah, we'll put him there. Both of them there. That counts as 2.
Works for me.
Next up, we have the Paladins.
Paladins, oh, there we go.
So they're right here.
Mm-hmm. Now,
we've mentioned this already. They're Honored Knights, so they're never part of a Brotherhood. They can only be buffed by Drago or Paladin Ancient. They get to pick 2 powers from the Sanctic Discipline. One of them will always be Hammerhand. So
Should be.
Basically, you get an extra power. They are not any more durable than Terminators. There's a couple more things. They have their own psychic power they can swap out, or their own strat where they can swap out psychic powers.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I think they're in B tier for sure. I think.
Yes, I agree they're in B tier.
They're in B tier.
I would put them
But where?
almost right in front or right behind the Terminators.
I put them behind Terminators, I think.
I think that's okay.
OBSEC is a big deal.
There are ways to give them OBSEC.
There's 2 ways in the book.
So that works, but they're more...
It's the Brotherhood thing that kills me.
I don't want to say they're more glass candy, but they're more points for more output, but no durability. So if you can get them into combat to do the damage, great.
Yeah.
If they're caught in the open,
Yeah.
then they're gonna die just as fast as the Terminators.
Yeah, there's just ways to improve
Terminators.
There's strats that have the Terminator keyword in them, and that can be used on both units, Terminators and Paladins. But I agree. I believe that they are above the Chaplain.
Yeah. I think they're above the
They
Chaplain.
definitely can still be used effectively, probably just not in like crazy tournaments.
Yeah, the game I just played against, not against you, but another Grey Knight.
Actually, I haven't heard about this yet.
He
Yeah,
had 5 Paladins, and he put them deployed them on the board, and I got to go visible. Well, not really visible, but because I am Tyranids, I can do turn 1 charge where I please, and I
just annihilated them.
charged up there, and they're not that hard to kill when you have D3 plus 3 damage attacks.
No, they're just That's the exact problem, is that they're just Terminators.
So I was able to wipe him out turn 1. Now, he could have deep struck them, and they could have done a little better. Maybe he could have got a charge off with them, but
that's part of the problem with them, is their durability is not better at all than a Terminator.
yeah, it would have been nice if they had like a -1 damage or a -1 to wound built in, or a strat or something.
Well, there's strats for if you deep strike them, but that's still a strat, and you still don't get to have them on the board turn 1.
Yeah, I think they're good right there behind Terminators.
I agree.
Maybe you guys disagree, but
let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
Please. Yeah, by the way, I want them to be way higher. I love Paladins. They're so cool.
Yeah.
But next we get to another unit that is honored knights, the Purifiers. Now, which one of these is Purifiers? These ones.
I believe it is these boys here.
No, those are jumpies.
Oh, sorry, those ones, yeah.
These ones, yeah. So Purifiers are honored knights. They're never part of a brotherhood. They are the same points as a strike squad. This is very important.
They are.
This will factor heavily into where we rank them. Purifiers, no, they're 1 more point.
Okay, that's what I thought. 1 more point.
So Purifiers are 1 more point than Strike Squad. The things they gain over the Strike Squad are 1 extra leadership for the regular guys, and the Knight of Flame he goes up to leadership 9. They gain
The psychic power.
so actually that's the only thing they gain over Strike Squads is the leadership. They swap out Hammerhand for Purifying Flame.
And they have +1 to cast Purifying
They have
Flame.
plus 1 to cast, which helps with ranking them, because that makes them better. So that's basically 3 consistent mortal wounds a turn if you're within, I think it's 9.
Yes.
And then that's the only differences.
So you're paying an extra point for potentially no OBSEC and better psychic potential.
But is it better psychic potential than Hammerhand? Because Hammerhand is an amazing power.
It is an amazing one.
This psychic power, Purifying Flame, is more consistent
to get off.
use out of to get off.
If you have too much Hammerhand, then you might not get it all off.
It becomes redundant.
And it might become difficult
true.
to get them off. And this one could be consistent.
Lack of a brotherhood, though.
The lack of a brotherhood does hurt them.
It sucks.
It
really
does
sucks.
hurt them.
Yeah.
Maybe if you take a big squad of them, pair them with Drago or something so they can benefit. Again, you got to tech into them a little bit.
They're 1 more point per model, and I just don't see them being better than a strike squad in most situations.
No.
and they don't have OBSEC, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So they're B tier for me.
Sure, yeah, I was going to say the same
B,
thing.
You could say C, but I don't think they're that bad that they should be in C tier. I'm going to put them below the chaplain.
Okay.
You think?
How do they stack up to a paladin? Less attacks? Because
Yeah, they have regular attacks. They have that's a strike squad profile besides the leadership.
Okay, so yeah, I can see it. I put them behind.
Behind a chaplain or in front of the chaplain? I think it's one of the two.
Let's put them in front of the chaplain. Put them right next to the paladins.
Okay, that's true. So honored knights are kind of right in the middle of B tier for us. Anything else we need to? Oh, they have a stratagem. It's 2 CP, untainted and unbowed, to reduce damage. It's 2 CP.
2 CP.
Yeah.
There will be very niche situations where that is important.
Yeah.
If your opponent goes to shoot you with overcharged plasma weapons, because they have to declare that before you declare your strat, and they can't take it back. Or if they do, then you don't have to spend the strat.
I struggle with the 2 CP being worth it on especially on a 5-man squad.
If it was scaled to 1 to 2 CP, not just 2 CP no matter the model count.
2 CP flat. Now that is nice for a 10-man squad.
For a 10-man squad, fine.
Because that's the appropriate
cost. If it's scaled, then yeah, that would be good.
If it was 1 CP for a 5-man squad.
I would put them above paladins in that case, but
it's not.
But it's not, so they're still fragile. Yeah, they're fine. They're good at being a purgation squad.
Yeah,
I like
which we've
that.
Discussed before.
I like that.
So we've talked about the purifiers enough. I think they're so.
Yeah.
They get right the middle of the pack for me.
Absolutely.
I love how they look.
They're great.
They're very cool lore-wise as well. So if you like them, use them. Next up, we have a very interesting model. I think anyone who plays competitive will probably agree with this. Servitors.
Ooh, yes.
You get 4 in a unit and it's 30 points. It is the cheapest unit in the Codex by far.
By a long shot.
The next cheapest unit is a squad of 3
paladins.
No, wait, no, it's not.
No, just 5 strike squad.
No, it's the Brotherhood Champion.
The champion.
70 points.
Yeah.
So they're 40 points cheaper than my next cheapest unit.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're A tier.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're absolutely A tier. And I think they're probably higher up than the Brotherhood Champion.
Uh-huh.
Because the reason we think they're so good and why competitive players think they're good is backfield play.
They can hold your objectives.
Yeah.
Or can you can't shunt them or teleport them. Okay.
But you can gate
But
infinity them.
you can.
Wait, or is that Psychers now?
That's got to be Psyker.
Damn it, it is Psychers.
But you can put them into strategic reserve for 1 CP and walk them on the side of the table edge.
Yep.
So if you're going for retrieve Octarius data or engage in all front points for 30 points and a CP, you can just walk them on the side of the edge and do an action.
Screening your backfield. I mean, it is your only utility unit in the whole.
Absolutely.
Codex.
Just keep them outside of line of sight so nothing has to threaten them.
They will get melted immediately from one shot, from one bolt or shot.
Yeah.
They are extremely useful, and I need to get some.
30 points, I think, is you should almost be putting 1 or 2 units in a competitive. You don't have to, but I think they're like a Lictor for Tyranids. 1 or 2 of them in every army doesn't impact your army much.
No, almost inconsequential, I think.
So they're a good unit. For now, for you, we've got AdMech. We'll make those work, but we'll try and find some servitor models.
They do have the Brotherhood keyword too. I don't know. I haven't really thought about the shenanigans you could do with that, but I'm sure there's some stuff.
So if you want to make them do damage, you take 4 of them. 2 of them can have multi-meltas. You put them with the Tech Marine so they hit on 4s, and then you stick them with, you could give Drago could give his rerolls to them. So now you have 4 shots, hitting on 4s, re-rolling, wounding.
They could do some damage.
Multi-meltas are the best heavy weapon right now. They're the meta. When you're planning, at least when I'm planning my list, I'm planning to take
around
multi-meltas because of just how powerful they are.
And there's not that many units in my Codex in the Grey Knights that can even take them.
Now, if you take 2 multi-meltas, you more than double their point cost.
Yeah, it's not probably not the most competitive, but you could do it.
Maybe if you had all the points, just slap one multi-melta there if you couldn't figure out what to do with your points.
Yeah.
But, nah.
So I think they're easy A tier. I think they're above the Brother Champion.
Yes.
Are they above the Apothecary?
You mean the Librarian?
Sorry, yeah, Librarian. Maybe.
They might be.
It's not
for 30
too-
points.
It's not too difficult to do what the Librarian is designated to do, which is Changing Tide's Gate of Infinity.
Yes.
You could put that on Drago. You could make Drago do that stuff if you're taking him. I think maybe they're above the Librarian.
Okay, yeah.
You feel good about that?
I feel good about that.
I
There's
think that makes sense.
30 points for...
It's just a cheap unit.
It's cheap.
It's the only thing we get that's cheap. Like, actually cheap. You know?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're good. And we're getting down to it here. We have the Venerable Dreadnought and the Dreadnought. They're different.
They're different in
Especially in the Grey Knights Codex, they're different. So the usual differences are that the Venerable Dread has Weapon Skill, Ballistic Skill 2 instead of 3.
Yep.
And he has a 6-up Feel No Pain.
Correct.
They both have -1 damage.
Beautiful. And they can cast.
And they're both Psychers for Grey Knights. The only difference is that regular Dreadnoughts have the Brotherhood keyword. Venerable Dreadnoughts are Honored Knights.
Yeah.
Now this, again, will bring up the Preservers, kind of one of the more fun
ones.
Brotherhoods. The strat for them, it's 1 CP only. You can use it once per game before the game starts. You can basically buff up a regular Dreadnought. You cannot do it on a Venerable.
Sadly.
Which would have been so cool.
Would be cool.
Because then you could use Sanctuary to give it an invuln, and anyways, you can buff up a regular Dreadnought to have 2 more movement, reroll charges, and +1 damage. That's the strat for the Preserver.
Which is still good because you can gate him up into the front line, reroll charging.
I mean, that's cool.
And he will mess with. You can't ignore the lowly Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Especially a Preserver one.
Exactly. So they also have it's a regular Space Marine stratagem. It's like it casts out a 6-inch bubble of reroll hits.
You can you can put that on them.
You can put that on both kinds of Dreadnoughts, I believe.
Does it affect themselves, or is it only?
It's core.
So it does affect himself.
Is it just in shooting though? Maybe I should check.
No, it's everything.
It's everything. It's right here.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. So it's 1 CP for Shadow of the Undying Legends. And it affects core. So you can use it on your
So you use it and it does affect himself.
So sadly, I almost think regular Dreadnoughts are better than Venerables for Grey Knights.
I would use
Right?
them for combat. And if you just want a weapons platform, I would go with the Venerable ones. Because they're more reliable on their own.
Skill, yeah.
And they can sit in the back and they don't benefit from anything, so they don't need to be by anything.
Now, with Grey Knights, you can't do, if you were trying to make a gunboat Venerable Dread, one of the arms has to be a combat weapon or a missile launcher.
Missile launcher is still good.
Missile launcher is good, but you can't do 2 last cannons.
No, those days are gone of the dual las cannon ones. No one can do that anymore.
Oh.
That is a Legends option now. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep, that's been gone for a little while.
So you can use it like other Space
You
Marine
can,
weapons.
and what I would do with them, personally,
Las and missile.
if you want to play them long range, if you're okay playing a mid range, I like the multi-melta and a combat weapon, but I would probably put the multi-melta combat weapon on the regular Dreadnought and do the twin las and the missile launcher for backfield.
I would too, because then they can also just sit as far back and screen.
That's true.
And besides servitors, you have 0 units that are good for screening with Grey Knights. So I think they'll probably both be in
B tier.
for
Yeah,
sure.
B tier's getting full.
It was always going to be like that though.
That is B's kind of the average.
It's supposed to be. This is a regular.
That's the regular
here.
boy.
Where do we want to put them?
I think
above the Ancients.
I think because of the Preserver strat, I like him a lot. I like him a lot.
They're totally usable.
What would you put him? I'm curious because I have a
I would
bias.
put them bottom of B tier for sure.
I have a bias towards combat dreads.
But it's only good with Preservers is the only unfortunate part. I would put them above the brother captain,
Okay.
below the chaplain.
Sure.
Yeah?
I have a bias. I would put him above the chaplain, but we can leave him there because I do have a bias towards
Yeah,
my combat
I can
ones.
see that as
so
well.
he's fine there. Yeah.
And then I think we'll put the venerable behind him.
Yep. Probably right behind him.
Because in a Grey Knight army, a tank that's going to be sitting back and shooting is actually more of a target than something running up. Because everything's, your
He's
whole
right
army
there.
is going forward. So I think Venerable's somehow sadly a little
I'm
less-
wondering if you might even put the venerables lower
Really?
because,
Because of Honored Knights?
well,
Lack of
the
brotherhood.
Honor Knights thing, but also in terms of anti-tank shooting, which is what they are, your Dread Knights can do that very well now with their side cannons.
I'm okay with putting Venerables below the brother captain.
Sure.
Wow. Who would have thought? You'd put the regular dreads above. I think that's right.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go with
That's
it.
right. We talked about the strat already.
Yeah.
There we go. Next up, we have
The lone fast attack.
the single fast attack choice, but lucky for us, it's amazing.
It's a very good one.
It's extremely powerful. The Interceptor squad is a strike squad. Does not have OBSEC, which is the only negative you can even say about it. It switches out Hammer Hand for an incredible power called Ethereal Castigation, which is, it allows them to move up, full move, shoot, move back.
Yes.
You can
Or
use
any
that-
direction.
Or any
but
direction. You don't have to move backwards. It's amazing.
It's very good.
It's getting a strike squad stat line thing with double the movement, or maybe quadruple the movement, depending on how you view that
Yeah.
second power. It can shunt as well for 2 CP.
Do you pay 2 points extra for it?
2 points extra only.
That's good.
It's just so fast, and you need that with Grey Knights. You need little guys that can move up with your Dread Knights.
And they can hit hard in combat. They can
Just as hard,
potentially do. Well, turn one charges are hard for them, but they have the
It's also
ability.
not usually a good idea to send.
No.
They're as squishy as a Space Marine.
Yeah.
But-
But their speed. Where would you put them? I would put them
S tier,
S
I
tier,
think.
right behind the strike squad. Up front of Crow or behind Crow?
I debate in front of a strike squad.
Oh, okay, sure.
The movement is such a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. The
But
movement is key.
it's the movement they gain versus the loss of Hammerhand and OBSEC.
Yeah.
That's the debate is.
And you can, but there are ways to make up for the OBSEC.
I know that's why I'm debating putting.
I
them in
could see,
front of
you can
strike
put them in
squad.
front of strike squad. Absolutely.
I just think they're so good. We need to get more of them for my army.
Yes, will work.
But I think they get third best so far.
Yeah, I like it.
Next up, we have what I think is our final S tier. Spoiler alert. S tier
Spoiler.
rank. The regular Dread Knight, which, when fully kitted out with the sword and an incinerator and a side cannon, they're 180 points, and the personal teleporter. They're 180 points. I think they go S tier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lower than the power armor stuff in S tier, but they have a 4-up invuln and a 2-up armor save.
It's so good.
It's in the games that we've played on the channel. Check out our battle reports.
Absolutely.
There's 2 battle reports where the regular Dread Knights have been the MVPs. They've just taken hits
A
that
2
they
up,
shouldn't have taken.
a 2-up, 4-up is so powerful.
On a toughness 6.
Toughness 6 is their downfall.
But, I mean,
But
I was
it's-
saying as a positive, at least it makes it so small arms isn't going to do that much to them. You know?
Well, yeah, you'd still be wounded on 5s.
But I mean, toughness 6 for that good of a save is about as good as you could probably ask for on something.
Yeah.
I just think they're very, very points efficient,
Oh, yes, they are.
especially if they're near their, what we call them, their big daddy, the other Dread Knight, the Grandmaster.
Yep.
They'll get those re-rolls, their guns, their swords. I should mention, there's a 1 CP stratagem for Dread Knight units when they make a charge. On a 2 through 5, you get D3 mortal wounds, and
Yep.
on a 6, you get
Flat.
3 flat mortal wounds, I think.
If it's something you just gotta do a little bit of damage to, then...
I actually could have used that in our Apocalypse game we just did, so check that out too.
Oh, yeah.
At the end there, in the backfield. Anyways.
Right.
Anyways, I think regular Dread Knights are also S tier.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
They're such a good bang for their buck. Above Crow, probably.
Yeah, put them there.
I think they go right above Crow. Crow's still good.
Look at that loaded S tier.
S tier is thick.
They're
for
good.
sure,
I mean, they're there for a reason.
Yes, and now we get, unfortunately, the heavy support is the biggest bummer of the entire codex. We'll start with the least bummer of the stuff that's left. The Purgation Squad. They go here, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In the past videos we've done on Grey Knights, we always bring them back up. Because they're supposed to be Grey Knight Devastators. They're supposed to be probably better than they are.
Yes.
For power armor in the Grey Knights Codex, you can just replace your close combat weapon in Stormbolter with a silencer or incinerator. Side cannon is 5 points, so pretty much nothing. These guys can have up to 4 special weapons, the guns, in a squad. So you usually run squads of 5, almost always. They just don't really do it that well.
They just don't. They don't do it. You can
24-inch range for the stuff that aren't the incinerators.
You could basically take their efficiency and put it into any other of the strike units, and
it'll perform better.
They'll perform better. They perform better in. I'm gonna say it every time because it's true. They perform better as a purifier squad than they do because they get a better psychic power.
Yeah.
They will get better leadership.
Yeah.
And the only thing that could make them better, besides a points drop, which they're not gonna get, is
I don't think they should get
a 2-up ballistic skill would go a long ways to making them good.
Yeah. The problem is that I think the Grey Knights are supposed to be all the same. You know what I mean? Like all the power armor is basically the same unit with some stuff swapped out, like options.
Yeah.
So they have a stratagem. It's 2 CP. It's called Sanctified Kill Zone.
Right.
It is theoretically powerful. It's if you're shooting something within half range, so 12 inches if you're using side cannons, you add 1 to your wound roll. That sounds really great.
That's good.
And they can deep strike, so it sounds even better. You know?
Yeah.
You drop them in. The problem is that they're heavy weapons, and
they're 2 CP.
For another 2 CP. Yes, for another 2 CP, Steely Advance, you can make a squad act as stationary.
That's
so
no.
For 4 CP, you can make them hit how they should and wound pretty good.
Which is half your CP in a game. Typically.
Literally half your CP.
So
for 1 turn of shooting with what is supposed to be a good heavy weapon.
It'll do damage. It'll hurt.
You can't use 4 CP though.
But no, you can't do
can't
it.
Do that.
No.
That's just crazy.
They're down there in the C tier, absolutely.
They can be good for sitting on backfield. It costs the same. These guys actually cost the same as a strike squad. And if you take incinerators or silencers, it doesn't increase their price at all. But
the one other way I can see them useful, you have
there's some combos you can
not
do.
your Overwatch strat, but your intercept strat in here.
Intercept?
Yeah, I believe Grey Knights have it.
No, that is a extra points thing.
Oh, it's an extra points thing.
It's an extra points thing. Here, we'll see how much you can tell them what it is. And all.
So it basically, if a unit deep strikes within 12 inches of them, then, or is it of the bearer of it?
There. Once per battle.
Once per battle, the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase, this model can experience a vision. If it does, select 1 Grey Knight's core character unit. For your army that's not with engagement range, this unit can shoot as if it were shooting phase if it was set up within 12 inches of them. So if you take a unit with the side cannons,
it's 30 points.
Oh,
30 points for that vision.
Now that's
big bummer.
30 points, but if you put them in a building where they'll have a 2-up save and no one's going to really want to target them, it's going to deny your opponent deep striking because they're going to have to take all that shooting and you will count as stationary.
Or just the fact that they're aware of it could maybe deter some people from doing that. But it's 30 points.
Yeah,
30 points.
Yeah, that's a bit much. But
I knew there was a reason I had never taken it before. That's why.
Okay, we'll leave it them.
It's an option.
It is an option.
we talked about in other videos, there's a bunch of stuff you can do to make them better. It all costs CP, basically.
It's all way too expensive.
Stuff you can do with the chaplain, but you should not use your chaplain for that. Use your chaplain to use words of power on a close combat unit.
Yeah.
That's what you should do with the chaplain.
All right, that's purgation.
We basically have 3 units left, or 3
We have
different
more,
types
but
of units.
it goes quick.
Why don't we do rhinos and razorbacks next, just
Sure.
because I want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to clog up B tier anymore, but I think they're the low end of B tier.
Yeah. Slap them in there.
We're just going to throw them in. Razorbacks are worse. Rhinos are better because they're cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know what rhinos and razorbacks are. They are completely stock. They do have the Brotherhood keyword, so
Yeah.
Razorbacks will benefit from the Sword Bearers Brotherhood again. Actually, everything else that's left will benefit from being Sword Bearers.
Okay.
Because it's the vehicles one. Not too much else to say.
No,
about
it's
it.
nice to have maybe 1 or 2 rhinos if you're going heavy strike squad, just to keep a few units protected.
Yeah, the thing I'm scared about, Craig hasn't used his hardest lists on me yet, because I was just trying out my Grey Knights. But the thing I fear the most when I'm thinking about fighting his Tyranids, especially if he runs the list he just made a video about, is that my strike squads will just melt.
They will melt.
They'll just fall to pretty much any shooting. So I'm now debating rhinos and razorbacks so that I can keep them on the board for an extra turn or 2.
Yeah, so I could see it. You'll keep, let's say you bring 4 strike squads,
Sure, which is very standard.
which standard. You could put 2 of them out of line of sight,
Yeah.
which against most armies,
Yeah.
except Tyranids, that is fine and dandy. Tyranids
Exactly.
could still tag one of them.
Yes.
And for another unit, you can put 2 units inside 1 rhino,
Yep.
and then
Force
basically
your opponent to.
crack the rhino or ignore it.
Yeah.
I think 2 rhinos at most has got a place in a lot of lists.
I like razorbacks too. I know there's a decent premium for having that heavy bolter
weapon.
on top.
Or las cannon. Can you put a
Costs
multi?
even more.
It is,
Put a multi-melt on.
but a twin las cannon is still very good.
Twin last cannon. When I played your Skitarii, I actually killed the Iron Strider.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Grey Knights have almost 0 heavy shooting besides Dread Knights, Land Raiders, and these.
They're relatively easy to kill, but you have to dedicate shooting to them. I would not
Yeah.
want to waste my Hive Guard to kill this thing, but I would have to because
Exactly.
2 las cannon shots a turn
Yeah.
going into my big monsters is not something I want to deal with.
Yeah, so, I mean, you could put the Razorback in front of the Rhino. It kind of depends.
They're on
but
top. They're even.
They're, just because they're at the bottom B tier is not bad.
No, that's average.
They have their place. It's average. I think you don't want to know your opponent's list. What's it called? What's the word I'm trying to...
Tailoring.
You don't want to tailor your list, but if you think you might get shot to pieces, your strike squads, consider a Rhino or a Razorback. They'll do their work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We only have 2 types of units left. We'll do
The
the one I
land,
like a little more.
the land
A
raider.
Land Raider. I'm going to put it above Stern because
Oof.
Stern seems like he sucks.
Poor Stern.
He just not that good,
Yeah.
to be honest. We're putting all 3 types of Land Raider. There's actually a Forge World 4th one.
Yeah.
But that one's actually, I would put maybe D tier because it's more expensive.
Ooh.
And it has a side cannon on it, and it's got like
That's
some
cool.
special grenades. But
Okay.
I don't think it's better than the regular
Sure.
ones. So, all 3 types of Land Raiders, regular Land Raider, the Crusader, and the Redeemer. You know what they do. They have a 2+ save, their toughness 8, 16 wounds.
Mm-hmm.
They move fast-ish. Actually, not fast in the whole realm of 40k, but
Yeah.
fast for a Space Marine vehicle. And they are good for transporting your very expensive troops.
Yes.
But they are
will die.
265 points,
Mhm.
even with they got a points decrease a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
From 285 to 265, so that's nice. But they will die.
Your opponent has to focus them.
They have to focus them no matter what. One thing I'll say, that this is not really, it's not a competitive thing at all, but if your opponent happens to have no anti-tank shooting, it's a really good unit because it's an impenetrable wall.
It just drives around and does its thing.
Yeah, but I think they're a little better in Grey Knights than other Space Marine chapters.
I think Grey Knights are one of the only chapters that will benefit. You can play Sword Bearers and give them the 4-pin Von Save.
And Sword Bearers gives the extra wounds.
Oh.
It's the extra psychic. It's the psychic power that gives you your vehicles get +1 to wound.
That's very good.
It's very good on
So
Land
you
Raiders.
put that on a Hurricane. What's the Hurricane one? Just a standard one. Crusader.
Crusader.
Got all the Hurricane bolters. So
But same with the Redeemer. The Flamers
the
are.
Redeemer would be Lund on 2s then.
Mm-hmm.
They're good.
Yeah.
I would probably only ever take one in the Sword Bearers.
Totally.
Just because
Absolutely.
a 2-up, 4-up,
Yeah.
16
Yeah.
wound, toughness 8, behemoth
Yeah.
with a party inside of it.
Yeah. Now you can cast Sanctuary on it. Sanctuary is not Psychic. So that's another way, but definitely always take it as a sword bearer and be smart with it. Don't just charge them in
I
because
don't know.
any army.
You have to just charge it in, otherwise it's not
Yeah,
doing much.
That's true.
Pick a flank,
Pick a
pressure
flank.
that flank,
Yeah, pick a flank correctly, I guess.
force your opponent to deal with it. Pair it up with Dread Knights. If you have that and Dread Knights, well,
Always
it's like,
pair it up with
well,
Dread
crap, what do? Do you shoot the tank with the party inside, or you kill the Dread Knights, which actually do some damage?
Yeah. Always use it in sword bearers. Always use them with dread knights.
Yeah.
That's what I think about land raiders. Otherwise, there's
Not much else to say about them.
no. They have the brotherhood keyword like
That's
almost
good.
everything else. So that's again sword bearers.
On to the Flyers.
So we have 3 flyers, and I'm just gonna place them all right now.
Plop.
I
Wow.
think the Storm Raven is last because it's so freaking expensive. Now, to be honest, these are the things in the book I know the absolute least about. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't even know where they are.
They're at the back.
So we'll talk about the Stormhawk Interceptor. 3-up save, toughness 7, 10 wounds. It has 2 assault cannons, a last talon, Sky Hammer missile launcher, and an Infernum Halo launcher. So this thing is the dedicated anti-aircraft aircraft.
Okay.
Because it has this thing. The Infernum Halo launcher makes it so that you add 1 to your save against aircraft shooting you.
Add 1 to your. Oh.
Which is good.
That's good. But no
But-
one brings aircraft.
No one brings.
Unless you're
AdMech.
AdMech.
The
AdMech.
do bring aircraft now.
AdMech bring a lot of aircraft.
But the problem and what reason I have them on D tier is because unless you're playing AdMech, don't do this. Don't.
I mean,
The guns are great.
the guns are fine.
The biggest problem is that they're up in the air, hard to hide. Can you hide aircraft behind? No.
You can
can't.
deep strike aircraft.
Yeah, you could deep strike it. You can't hide it. It
-1 to hit rolls. Hard to hit.
is hard to hit. I just
I think
let's go to the points.
yeah, what are the points on them?
So we're talking about which one? That was the Interceptor. The Interceptor is 185
Oh, that's a lot of points.
for a toughness 7 with 10 wounds.
That's a lot of
3-up save.
points. I was gonna say if it's more in the 150 range, then maybe.
Yeah, if it was in 150, so maybe the Storm Talon gunship is the one you want to tech into. It's 165 points. It does not have the +1 save thing. I think it has less guns.
It's more anti-infantry if I remember
Or
right.
anti-infantry.
Like Connor said, we don't play with these 2 vehicles a lot. I've never owned one. I've almost never seen one in person.
No.
But maybe at some point we'll get them. I would like to play with them
Eventually I'll get
just
them.
to try them. I think they have potential.
Just doesn't seem like flyers are it right now.
No.
You know?
Except for AdMech. But
Except for the AdMech.
you could bring a skew list and design to go after AdMech because
Yeah.
that would tear apart the AdMech.
If you're aware of some AdMech player just dominating a tournament you're about to go to, like if you know he's going to be there and you know he's probably going to place, then maybe you take the
Maybe you
first
do
one,
it.
the Interceptor. The final unit in the whole book that we haven't talked about is probably my least favorite unit in the whole book.
I love them, but they're not. I like them
as far
as a blood angel. I like them.
I like them like fluff wise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like them fluff wise.
Okay.
In the game, thinking competitively.
Yeah.
They are, I think they're almost 300 points.
It's basically a flying Land Raider.
They are 310 points. That is so
They need a
much.
point decrease by about 50. Yeah.
We didn't talk about this before, but we both knew it needs 50 points. Yeah. They're toughness 7.
Toughness
3 up
7.
Save. They have more wounds.
12 wounds, 14 wounds.
14 wounds.
Yep.
So that's good. They actually are strength 8 and have 6 attacks at top bracket, which
I don't know what you're
I
going to
had
do
never
with
thought
that.
about that.
They don't have any combat.
No, they have 6+ weapon skill.
They can transport strike squads. They can transport Terminators. They can transport a Dreadnought.
Yes.
So if you really want to bring your Preserver Dreadnought, fly him into battle,
That'd be cool.
you could do that. But the problem is
you can just gate your.
you could
your
do that,
Dreadnought,
and you'd
though.
have to deploy it on the table,
Yeah.
and you have to hope it doesn't die.
Yeah.
Because if you put a Dreadnought in there and a strike squad,
If it dies.
it's like a third of your army.
But you can do both. Oh yeah, the dreadnought's in the back.
Yeah, he's like grappled into the back.
Hangs off the back. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's an all eggs in one basket. If it doesn't die, and you can get your stuff out there, then it's gonna cause havoc for a turn or two, and it's gonna bring things to the front line.
It has tons of guns. I mean, the firepower on it is no joke.
The 4 twin multi-meltas are great.
Totally. I was writing some notes just so I could have this video ready in my head earlier, and I said that in theory the Storm Raven and the other flyers, they should be everything the Grey Knights need, which is anti-tank, long-range firepower.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is just that when you get them on the table,
You just don't do what you
they
think they
just
should.
aren't quite enough for the points.
Yeah.
Your Dread Knights are.
Mm-hmm.
They can do anti-tank stuff with those side cannons, so...
So you've seen our Storm Raven. It's in a crater, busted.
It's a great looking terrain piece.
Yeah, that's what we use it for.
Yeah. Which is busted for
Other
reasons.
reasons.
Yeah, it's besides the point, but we didn't feel the need to rebuild it into a Storm Raven. We thought, we'll use it.
We'll use it for what it is. We didn't pay a lot for it.
Yeah, so, the flyers are the only thing in D tier, but I like that I have the option.
They just
I
need
suppose.
point drops.
Yeah.
If they each get a little bit of a point drop, like a 10%, 15% point drop on each of them, then
Yeah.
maybe
Storm
it's
Talon gunship is only 165. That
not bad.
seems decent.
That's not bad.
That's the best one. I don't know if I have them in the right order there, but Storm Talon gunship is going to be the best one for me.
Yeah, let us know if you guys use these in your Grey Knight. I know I've seen a few people who have them in their army, but I've never seen games where people really use it. The Storm Raven, yes, but the 2 gunships, smaller planes, I don't know what they're like.
Yeah. But that was
Oh, sorry, I had a tickle in my throat.
good.
Yeah.
Are we happy with where we have everything?
I think we're good with it. There's not a lot of bad in the army, which is good.
Yeah.
You got a lot of average, which is good, because all the B tier has playability.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a ton of units compared to some codexes, especially Space Marines,
Yep.
Tyranids. There's a lot of units that you have choices from, so to put half of it into B tier makes me happy.
Yeah,
I'm glad that it's
absolutely.
like that. We don't like Captain Stern. Well, we are happy with where we have everything. Let us know if we rank something too low or too high. I think there's a couple things that could go either way, 1 tier up or 1 tier down, but I think it's pretty accurate. Otherwise, stay tuned for more definitely Tyranid, definitely Grey Knight content. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Absolutely. We're still growing.
Yeah.
Support us if you want on the, let's see, when's this video? On the Etsy page. I'm working to add more to it just for some other options for you guys if you
We have
want to.
some more channel things happening soon.
Slowly growing. This is we're coming up to the holiday season.
Yeah.
Where we will both obviously be busy.
Yeah.
This is not our full-time jobs.
No.
So we can't just continuously work on this. So we are working and we have plans to do more for the channel. So all the support helps to push us to be able to grow the channel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's everything we got. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time at Mouse from Gaming Studios.
Thanks, guys.